make sure you're doing these things. You're gonna finally get the ball rolling again. Hey man, Gary Walker here, and welcome back for another video. In this video, I'm gonna tell you what to do when your progress stalls, because guess what? It's going to stall. Whether you got a fat loss goal or a muscle building goal, or you're just trying to get in shape or get fit for a competition, your progress is going to stall eventually. It's part of the process. That's the very first thing you gotta realize. Okay, you know it's gonna happen, so then you need to know what steps to take after it happens. So the very first thing I'm gonna tell you is you got to adjust your calorie intake. If you're losing weight and you're hitting 2,000 calories, 1,800 calories, and you were doing fine and suddenly 2 weeks goes by, nothing. 3 weeks goes by, nothing. You've hit that plateau, man. You've hit a wall. So usually I'm gonna tell you, drop a couple hundred calories. Now, there's one caveat to that though. If you're already very extremely low calories, if you're talking about 1,400 calories, 1,300 calories, then you hit a wall, I'm not gonna want you to continue to drop. That's usually when I tell you to burn more calories. So if you're eating 1,300 calories and you're not losing weight, then you either have to work out a little bit harder or do a little bit of cardio. You gotta get a deficit, but not from starving yourself, but from burning more. So that's gonna be the first thing, and vice versa. If you're trying to build muscle tissue and you gotta set plan, you've been gaining half a pound a week, and then 3 weeks goes by, 4 weeks goes by, a month goes by, nothing else has happened, and you're even eating 2,700 calories, well, add 2 more hundred calories. So you wanna bump up your calories. Here's the thing when it comes to building muscle tissue. Everyone is different. Some people can almost look at a weight and grow. You know, those are the genetic freaks. Other people have to work extremely hard, but if they work hard, they're gonna grow. And then you got the hard gainers, man. You can work hard, you can do everything else right, you can be eating a lot, but you're still not eating enough. Some people have to eat a lot. I'm talking 3,800, 4,000, 4,200 calories. It may take a ton of calories to get the scale to go up. So some people call those people lucky. Well, they're lucky unless they're trying to get bigger and they can't build more muscle tissue. Then it's very difficult to eat that much food when you gotta eat quality food. Now, that's the other side of this thing. You gotta make sure you're still eating the right types of foods, whether you're creating the deficit or adding more and creating the surplus. You want healthy foods, you want good lean proteins, you want good complex carbohydrates, and you want some good essential fats. Also get your fiber, get those veggies in, get some fruits in. Get a wide array so you're getting all of the nutrients, some micronutrients also, because a lot of times when you're stalled, it can be a depletion of one of the micronutrients. So there's a lot of other things to consider, a lot of variables. So I typically recommend always getting everything from foods. If for some reason you're not a big eater, you struggle to eat, for instance, veggies, you just don't like vegetables, man. And I happen to be one of those guys, unfortunately. So then get a greens powder, a testo green, something like that that's gonna give you a lot of the micronutrients that you might be missing out on because you're not eating all of the vegetables or the fruits. That's gonna give you some extra benefits. That's the very first thing, just adjusting that calorie intake. All right, the second thing, change up your workout routine. So if you're doing the same thing day in, day out, week in, week out, months on months, then it can get very monotonous. Your body may not be stimulated the way it should be. Then another thing that tends to happen, you can get bored with your workout. If you're bored with it, your mind really isn't into it. So you are lacking in that mind-muscle connection. You're probably not even pushing yourself at that point. You're just trying to go through the motions just to be done with the workout. That's why I like changing mine up. All of my programs are done by phases, typically every 30 days, some are every 6 weeks. So 30 days to 6 weeks, make sure you're changing some things up. And then also track. You gotta make sure you're tracking your reps, your weights, your rest, your sets, because you need to make sure you're making improvements somewhere. If you're not tracking and you're doing the same thing over and over, then it's very easy to hit a plateau because your body doesn't need to grow any because it's already got enough muscle tissue or it's got everything that it needs. It doesn't need to add more to lift more. Well, you gotta track, because that's gonna lead me to the progressive overload, which is what you gotta do. You can't be doing the same thing. You gotta either increase the load that you're doing, you gotta increase the repetitions that you're doing, adding more sets, which increases the overall volume, or increasing the frequency. Instead of doing something once a week, do it twice a week. Things like that are gonna make a massive difference. So you gotta focus on that. And this is even for, like I said, it sounds like all muscle building goals, but it's just as essential for the fat loss goals, because you gotta continuously stimulate your body. It's gotta be stimulated. You gotta work with enough intensity to allow your body to burn body fat or even build lean muscle tissue. So it goes both ways. And then your rest days. You gotta make sure you're taking your rest days. One of the things people tend to do when they hit a plateau, if they're working out 4 or 5 days a week, it's like, you know what? I'm not working hard enough. I'm gonna work out 6 days a week. I'm gonna work out 7 days a week. You don't wanna overwork yourself. You need to make sure you are resting and recovering optimally so your body continues to progress at optimal levels. Because if you overtrain or get overtaxed, it can tax your central nervous system, it can lead to burnout, it can lead to you completely quitting because you lose all motivation. So that's one of the other things you really got to focus on, is just make sure you're getting that rest and recovery. And then good quality sleep every night. If you're not getting good quality sleep at night, your body's not going to produce enough testosterone. It's not going to produce enough growth hormone. Or if you're constantly in bad sleep mode or deprived of sleep, your body tends to release more cortisol, which is a stress hormone. If you have high stress, then it's going to be very hard for you to adequately recover, and it's going to lead to a huge plateau. I mean, you're just going to hit a brick wall. Another thing is hydration. Got to make sure you're staying hydrated. Too many people are drinking coffee all day, which is a diuretic, drinking 0-calorie drinks all day. Some of those are diuretics, drinking their pre-workouts with a little bit of water in it. You want to make sure you're sufficiently getting water. 70 ounces is what I like to suggest. 70 ounces broken up consistently, not at one sitting. Just try to get a few 15 ounces, 20 ounces, or whatever throughout your workouts, before your workouts, a little after your workouts. Just allow your body to work the way it's meant to work, to function optimally. So you gotta stay hydrated. That's gonna be a massive thing for you. And last, let's talk on supplements a little bit, all right? So I'm not a huge supplement guy, but there are some supplements out there that can benefit you. I already talked about testo grains. Also, if you're struggling with sleep, ZMA, so our Anabolic PM, is a zinc and magnesium aspartate supplement. So those are some of the supplements I typically recommend. Testo greens to help you with your micronutrients, just to make sure you're covering all your bases. If you're not a big veggie eater, then I would recommend testo greens. Also, when I talked about sleep, ZMA is one of the best supplements, a zinc and magnesium aspartate supplement. Those are two minerals that most men are deficient in, and it can help you get into that deep sleep, the REM sleep, the deep restorative sleep, when your body is gonna produce more testosterone, more growth hormone, help decrease cortisol, and it's just gonna allow you to rest and recover so you have more energy the next day and feel refreshed and have another good day of work. You wanna consistently have good sleep so that you wake up feeling refreshed each day, have enough energy for your intense workouts, and all of those things. So those are gonna be the main things you really gotta prioritize if you've hit that brick wall, man, if you hit that plateau. If you've just stalled and nothing has changed, make sure you're doing these things. You're gonna finally get the ball rolling again. So whether that's your fat loss goals, muscle building goals, at the end of the day, both of those goals actually benefit you. So just stay ahead of the plateaus, but know that's part of the process. When you've got a long-term goal, you're gonna have short-term setbacks. So just be prepared for those, and it doesn't have to change from week to week. That's the last thing I'm gonna leave you with. If you're trying to lose weight, you lost 2 pounds, then 1 pound, then the next week you lost none, don't change what you're doing yet. Wait for a couple consecutive weeks. If you go 2 weeks, then nothing has changed, then you implement something that you might be needing to implement, like the calorie deficit, create more of a deficit, or the calorie burn, create more energy expenditure, do a little bit more cardio, things like that. But make sure you give yourself at least 14 days. I like 14 days. Sometimes even 21 if you start getting really low in calories, or if you start getting really high in calories and you're still not growing. Your body doesn't always respond from week to week or even every other week. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer for your body to get acclimated to the changes that you've made for it to actually produce any changes. All right, so thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you like it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and feel free to share it with anybody you think could help them or anyone that could benefit from this video. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. And as always, man, get busy, get after it, and God bless.